Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today we have with us none other than the Bull, George Peterson III. This guy, George, this has got to be a record. Third place at the Olympia, 4 years in a row. That means for 4 years straight, the judges deemed only two men in the entire world, 8 billion human beings, to be better developed or whatever, better package on the day. So to your knowledge, is that have you heard of any other person that's done third place for multiple years in a row like that?
No. I mean, I talk to Justin about it a lot, my coach, and no, I don't think anybody's ever done that. I mean, even guys who have been like in the top five, multiple years, they've kind of like shifted, went up, down, whatever. But nobody, I don't think, has ever stayed like top three, and in two different divisions too.
No, that's definitely. I'm very sure that hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure because someone will say, "Hey, I was third in bikini Olympia, then third in figure Olympia the next year." Jackass. But,
right.
Sorry, girl. I mean, I don't know everybody. So I know the Redcon shirt. What is this snappy attire you got on today? What is that?
It's a cool, sleek, black, soft material. It's a zip-up hoodie made by my newest sponsor, TYR. And to give you a little background on Tier, so I got the cool hat on too. Yep. To give you a little background on them, they specialize in swimwear. They make the swim trunks and swim caps, the goggles for professional swimmers, and they sponsor a lot of Olympic swimmers. In fact, a lot of swimmers that just qualify for the Olympics are sponsored by Tier. So if you watch any of you guys out there watch swimming, you're gonna notice a lot of the swimmers wearing swim caps that have Tier on it, and that's them. And what they're doing is they're crossing over into the fitness world, and I'm the first guy they're bringing in as far as partnering up with them.
How did that happen, George? If it's a secret, don't tell me. But how did you get up? How did you get hooked up with this company?
Well, it's actually interesting because the owner of the company, this Tier has been around since was founded in 1985, and the son of the owner took over the company. He's now the owner. He actually works out at Bev's from time to time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a guy by the name is my friend Eric, trains him, and I guess they were talking about it, and Eric referred me. It's like, oh, if you want a guy, get George. So I talked with the owner's name is Matt. I talked to Matt, and and what they're trying to do is they're just only doing apparel. Like they want to be, they want to kind of get in that market like Gymshark, get in that market like Dark Sport, just strictly apparel. So they sent me a bunch of stuff. I tried it on. I love it. It's soft material, easy to wash, comfortable to train in, and it's very comfortable and fashionable for daily wear as well. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. And we partnered up, and I'm loving all the apparel,
So this is designed for athletic types, athletically built people. I'm curious, what size are you wearing? How many X's in that L?
This is like a 3X right here.
I knew it. Of course, man. Speaking of Bevs, you just posted. We're doing this on a Friday night, guys. It's probably not going to post for a few days, but you just made a post from Bevs that you filmed today. It was 3 sets of squats. And I'm sitting there trying to pause it and count plates, and I can't do it. It looked like I think you were squatting 6 plates at one point. More? What was it?
Well, that was 4 sets at first. I mean, not 4 sets, 4 plates.
Yeah.
And then that was actually 4.25. And then I went down to 3 for a drop set. That's what that was.
Oh, the plates must be like this wide then.
They're very big plates. They're very big plates.
Are they the bumpers, the rubber ones you can drop on?
Yeah, because on that platform, like Steve, he wants people to only use the bumper plates from that platform. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so that I use it, and it was definitely a hard session for sure.
I'm just curious because you used to always squat with the regular slim 45s.
Yeah.
Is it tougher to balance because now it's way the hell out toward the end of the collars?
I mean, for me, actually, no. I mean, I don't have any problems balancing. I just make sure I'm right in the middle of the right in the middle of the bar, dead center, and position it well on my my traps, and I'm good to go.
Okay. So yeah, we're about at the end of June now. You're looking a little tighter. You're not posting up physique shots yet, but
right.
I can tell just by the face, the arms, things that you can see in a tank, in a t-shirt, you're starting to come down a little bit. It looks like. Have you started prep officially?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of say that pretty much. I am, pretty much starting prep. I mean, it hasn't gone to the point where I'm like on 0 carbs. Of course, it's too far out for that. But definitely full on dieting. appetite is, increasing because we want to go creep down and weight, in a timely fashion. We don't want to have to rush it because I got up to 250 pounds, this off season, and still, relatively decent shape, not fat, not sloppy, the best 250 that I've ever been, but, Justin basically, told me at a certain point, all right, let's start to bring you down. Because we want to make sure we really nail everything, and we don't want to, have to struggle to make that weight. I think that's kind of, gets in the way at times.
Sure, because like last year you had to prep for Tampa, you won that, and then you had the Olympia was like 4 months later, right?
Yeah, it was about 4 months later. Yeah.
So this time you're only doing the Olympia. Is it a longer prep because of that?
Yeah, it's going to be a longer prep for sure.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll definitely be dieting longer here for this one. But I always tell Justin, look, man, let's do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, let's do it.
Dude, I know there's people that I worry about. Oh, is this guy going to be in shape this time? Oh, I don't know if he's going to nail his condition. I never worry about. I don't think I ever worry about you being flat or anything. You always. I mean, when have you ever really been off that I've seen you? I can't recall one time.
I mean, I've never been like off. I mean, there has been times where I wasn't like my absolute best. But it was still a very strong showing, which, is the reason why I was still able to maintain top 3 in the world for all those years. I mean, if I had to pick like my best showing to date,
yeah.
I'm kind of going back to the 2019 Classic Olympia. Like I feel like, I was just on, like I just peaked so well at that weight that I had to make. And I think it was a great look for classic physique at that time, but so now in this Olympia, I'm looking to do the same exact thing, even better actually, for this 212 Sean that's coming up.
Let's see. So you're 192 at that Olympia in 2019. You'll probably be pretty close to 212. You'll probably be like 211.999 when you weigh in.
Probably.
All right. Well, I do like to share knowledge and wisdom from you guys with the viewers whenever possible, because what good is it having all this knowledge and experience if you're not passing it on, helping people? So I came up with some questions for you, George. Try to come up with good ones for you. Yes, here was the first one, George. We got, do you use the same rep range for all muscle groups, or do you go lower and higher for certain ones? Even then, do you do various rep ranges for a given body part in each workout, or do you mix it up? I hear so many different opinions on this.
Me, I pretty much do the same rep range for pretty much, any body part. I'm a strong believer in keeping the reps high, even on like the heavy sets. So, even like on my heaviest sets, I try to keep the reps nothing less than 10, and I always try to shoot for, 15. So my rep range is usually between 12 to 15, but you get those, those like whenever I'm going like super heavy where maybe I might, fatigue around, like say the 8th rep or 9th rep. I always want to go for that 10. I never try to get under 10. You very rarely see me go for like just like, say 6 reps or something like that,
Legs, you do. I've seen you on like leg press videos going pretty high, I think.
Yeah, 15 to 20 reps, always pretty much on the leg press, 15 to 20 reps.
Squats, you go higher reps?
Squats I usually do between 12, between 10 and 12 usually, and then like let's say like on like a drop set I'll go for 15 to 20 reps.
Oh, drop sets on squats, you're insane. Yeah, if you guys have not tried that, your lungs will come out of your mouth. It's not fun. Next one is, I was listening to Hunter Labrada talk about how he has trained his back to make the needed improvements, and he mentioned that you don't have to do certain exercises like deadlifts or T-bar rows to build a great back. As the man with possibly the best back on earth right now, do you agree or disagree? Certain exercises necessary or not?
Well, I agree with him that the deadlifts aren't really necessary. I mean, I would recommend T-bar rows to build back thickness. But even if you don't do T-bar rows, there are other exercises that can substitute T-bar rows to help you bring in that back thickness. Like there's a close grip pull down exercise that I usually do when facing away from the weight.
Yeah.
And laying down kind of flat on the bench pad and bringing the weight down to my chest. that's great for bringing in back thickness. Of course, you can't go as heavy than that as you would like a T-bar row, but it's like I said, it's a substitute. So Hunter Labrada is right that you don't necessarily need a specific exercise to have a great back.
Yeah, because deadlifts is the one that always comes up. You'll hear a lot of, like I've talked to guys like Ronnie and Branch, that obviously they're from Metroflex Gym. They're going to say this, but they honestly felt you could not build the best back possible without deadlifts. So how much deadlifting have you done?
I mean, Ron, I haven't deadlifted for like maybe 5 years,
There you have it. Case closed. Drop the mic.
You know what's funny? It's a kind of a funny story. I'll try to make it short and quick. But when I first turned pro, like in 2016, and then in 2017, there was a competition going on. It's called Bros versus
Yeah.
something like that.
Bros versus pros. I've seen.
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Bros versus pros. There you go. And I was the pro representing the pros and going against the bros, and I had to deadlift, and I hadn't deadlifted in 3 years at that point.
God.
So and the bro who set the max, I think he hit 33 reps on deadlift. This is 315-pound deadlift.
Wow, 33
reps. So I haven't deadlifted in 3 years. I'm probably not going to get nowhere close to that. So I was like, whatever. I don't care about this. Let me just do it. So I did it. I closed my eyes. I just started going, and I just kind of said in my mind, no pain. Just kept going. And I ended up getting 35 and winning.
Wow.
And that was crazy because I hadn't deadlifted in 3 years.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm glad it wasn't like heavier weight. You might have been at risk for injury. Now you're going to make me tell a quick story that's very similar to that because I think it's a great story. Jose Raymond was out in LA at the Fit Expo a couple of years back. I think it was like 5 years ago too. And they had like a squat and a deadlift challenge. So the deadlift was 405 for as many reps as you could. Mm-hmm. So Jose did it. His brother Tito did it. His brother Tito Raymond?
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with
Tito's like 5. He's taller. He's like 5 inches taller. And he's about 180 pounds. I want to say no body fat at all. Super athlete. They're all that whole family. They're like crazy athletic genetics. Anyway, right. So he's given up all kinds of size and weight to a couple of the other guys in it. But he won, Tito. And I don't know how many reps he did. I want to say it was like 40. No, maybe it wasn't. With 4, whatever it was, Jose said he knew he had already won I think he might have been the last one to go. So he knew how many reps he had to get. And he did like 10 more reps and it was like 35 and he's just got bored and he put it down. Like, I'm good.
Oh, that's amazing.
Man. Yeah, I like that thing. You want a little cash for that too. I think that was
I want some dough from that. Yeah,
I would hope because you're always there when you're doing crazy shit like that. You could always get hurt. So
right.
Should be some incentive.
Right.
Okay, here we go. You can tell I wrote this one, George. Now that you are in the 212 division, which has traditionally been dominated by guys who are 5'3" to 5'8", 5'5", with you being 5'8", do you ever wish you were shorter?
No, I don't.
No man wishes he was shorter.
Exactly.
Regardless.
No. I know. I mean, I actually think that my height is, will allow me to stand out in a way in the 212 division, because even though I'm tall, I mean, I'm still fairly, wide. So I'm not going to look like a thin guy up there, even though I'm taller than most of the guys, you know what I mean? Still have those muscle bellies, the dense muscle there that can carry me over. And I think my height will just give me, help me with me presenting that aesthetic look that I want to bring,
Yeah, I mean, the fact you could be 5'8" with much thicker bone structure and it wouldn't look anything like it looks on you. You're 5'8", but you have the tiniest joints. I mean, your waist is, what did we say? What did you tell me? It was like 29 in shape or something?
Something like that, 29,
okay.
Maybe 28.
Come on, this is like a guy with 200 plus pounds of pure muscle, zero body fat with a 29-inch waist. So yeah, I mean, you look different. You don't really look like anybody else. You know how they say everybody looks the same now? They look like freaking cooked. They were made in a factory. Right. If you cut the head off and showed everyone George Peterson, I think pretty much everybody would go, well, that's George Peterson.
Hey, and you know what? And that's cool. And I pride myself on that. To have a unique look. Because I think it'll make the division more interesting to have that. Have a variety, what I mean, of different type of looks, and I think that's kind of the direction the division is going. You're going to be seeing different looks because you're getting different guys. You're getting, you got Keon in there, and you get now, and I believe the guy who just won the New York Pro, Nathan,
Kepler, yeah.
he's fairly tall, ain't he? You know?
Yeah, he's 5'8". He's 5'8".
Right.
So
So
is that the other one that won Indy, he's not much shorter than that. He's probably 5'7",
right.
maybe
So
closer to 5'8". Tonio.
right.
Yeah.
So I think it's starting to change up a little bit.
Yeah. I wonder if it's harder to judge you because you don't look like anybody else. I wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like a Hattori Hanzo sword from Kill Bill. You can only compare it to every sword that isn't a Hattori Hanzo sword.
I might make that one of my aliases.
You can use that. That's yours now. Okay, next one is, I heard you talking about your daily schedule, and I know you stay up very late. How does that work with your carbohydrate intake? Do you keep having carb meals into the late evening? And I'm assuming this varies whether we're talking off season or pre-contest.
Yeah, in the off season, I keep the carbs even as late as 2 a.m. When it comes to the pre-contest diet, no, my carbs are pretty much cut by, I would want to say, maybe like 10 p.m.
Okay.
And then not having and then I'll have probably one more meal after that, and then that'll have probably zero carbs at that point, and that's like maybe around 2 a.m. or so. Yeah.
So you go to bed at 2 a.m., right?
Yeah. And I don't wake up until maybe about like say 9:30 ish. I get enough sleep, I mean, I get enough.
Whatever you're doing, it's working. So I'm not going to worry too much. I'm not your mom. I'm not your mom. Okay. Last question for you. How long does it take to know if you have good genetics for bodybuilding? I've been training for a little over a year now, and no one has told me I have any potential. What should I be looking for?
Well, I guess say how fast your body responds to the training. If you're a guy who seems to be putting on muscle fairly quickly, and you're just starting to lift weights, I think that's a sign that that you have the genetics for it.
Yeah.
If you take a look at your structure in the mirror, like, are you a big hipped guy? Are you a small hipped guy? Or, you kind of, like you got to kind of, look at things like that. But I would think the most notable one is how fast you respond to the weight training. If you respond fairly quickly, then I think that's a good sign that you have the genetics, for this sport.
Yeah. How quickly did you respond when you started?
Really quick. I mean, like I joined when I first joined the gym, I was starting to see results just within like the first month of training. People were telling me, George, like, what are you doing? You're looking different, and I was, it was hard for me to kind of notice it, but people were telling me that, but as far as the person who asked that question, I just want to say, don't get discouraged if people are not telling you that, that you look like you should be doing it. If this is what you want to do, like we all are different, and we all have different genetic makeup. If it's taking you longer to put on the gains that you need, accept that, and just accept that just means you're gonna have to work harder. You're gonna have to outwork the others. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm going to add to that because that was me as a, I didn't have great genetics, and most people that are into this bodybuilding lifestyle don't have great genetics for it, but they love it. And it's about becoming better, versus the old you. That's all you can do. And I want to say, regardless of your genetics, all you young kids out there, if you work long enough and hard enough, you're still going to be much, much closer to a pro look. Even if you don't look like a pro, you'll be much closer to that look than the average person at the gym. And most regular people will still be like, damn, they'll still be very impressed. Then they see a George, they're not going to see a George Peterson at their mom, at your 24-hour fitness down the street from you. But yeah, it's just, don't give up, guys. Don't give up.
Right.
Stick it out. Work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you just posted your first a good on your Instagram about 4 days ago. It was like a split screen of your first show and one of the more recent shows. Was that your first show in the before?
That was my very first show. Yep. Wow. Very first NPC show. Yep.
Were you all slouched, or was that like a bad picture of you, or was that what you really looked like?
No, I really look like that.
Oh, okay.
I really look like that,
Wow. Geez.
So yeah, that was the New York Metropolitan in 2008.
Wow. I would never, ever have predicted, if I had been at that show and seen you on stage, never predicted you even had the potential to look like this. I would say, this guy sucks. He should just keep to these local shows and pick up a couple trophies, but that's as far as this guy's going to go.
I know, right?
Oh, wrong.
That's why you never know. You never know, you know?
Yeah. Because I looked at, I just want to point that out because a lot of guys at their first shows I've seen were fairly impressive. You could already tell they were going to be better than everybody else up on stage with them. But you know, that first show of yours, you had to put in a little time and effort before your genetics really came out. It wasn't instantaneous at all.
Absolutely. You know, I think those are the stories that are very cool. I mean, look at if you were like a wrestling fan, you know, back in the 90s, if somebody would have told you, oh, this wrestler by the name of The Rock is going to be the most famous movie star in the world, at that time, people probably would have said you're crazy.
Oh yeah.
But look at it, you know. Look at it now. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know.
You're right. That's the last time I watched wrestling consistently, when it was like Triple H, The Rock, The Undertaker, Stone Cold,
Shawn Michaels.
That was probably. I think that was like the peak. That was the best time for pro wrestling.
Yeah, it was. It was the best.
That's hard. I suppose that's debatable. We're going to get some comments. Speaking of comments, guys, if you have questions for a future Q&A that I'll do with George sometime in the future, please leave them below, so I don't have to keep making up my own dopey ass questions. Even though, you know, he's always a sport, he answers them all, and I try to be helpful to everybody. But George, Olympia prep hasn't quite started yet, but I'm anxious to follow along. What is that Instagram? We got to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, we'll flash it on the screen, but it is George P_DeBull. So George is one of those guys who actually puts out good content on a very regular basis. Got his own YouTube channel with the same name. Is it George Peterson III?
It's just George Peterson.
George Peterson, and of course on the Redcon 1 channel, there's some assorted videos there with George. So
exactly, and we'll be filming some content with Redcon 1 and everything very soon and everything. You know, and for anybody who's interested to learn more about Tier, you can go to tier.com, www.tier.com. Go to the apparel section. I want to show you something else they just recently came out with here.
Any pack? No.
I'll show you two pairs here. So we got these cool glasses here that they came out with. The Tier.
Very patriotic.
Very patriotic on this one. I'll show you another one here. Okay. So these are very, very cool. You know, they're light and very fashionable. You know, so check these out.
Oh man, yeah, those look
Tier
like
logo.
Remind me of the old Oakleys from the 80s.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And they got other things in the works too coming out. So look out for it. So you guys go to tier.com and check it out.
You're looking pretty snappy there in your Tier stuff. Let me tell you, George. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, George, for taking the time on this Friday night. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're inspiring and motivating a lot of people out there. Good stuff.
Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with this man, George the Bull Peterson III. We'll see you next time.